Lesson number 5, we're going to talk about building a quality assurance checklist for your emails. Frankly, when you start to scale, other people get involved, things can break. So let's talk about 10 things you can do to make sure your emails are properly sent, especially as you scale. Number 1, ask yourself if you're sending an email to the right person. This is important because oftentimes you're sending an email to the wrong person, especially if you didn't spend enough time doing your research in advance. We talked about this many times before, but if you haven't done your research, you oftentimes could send an email to the wrong person. And since most times you only have one shot, it's important to do that right. Another thing is to verify email lists. Have you actually verified that these emails that you've scraped through, you've bought, whatever, you've kind of collected are actual real people's email addresses? And a high bounce rate can actually screw up your deliverability and get you in the spam folder. So make sure that you verify an email. You can use Voila Norbert email verification. Hunter has an email verification. Practically any service, every service out there has an email verification service that will cost you maybe I think like a tenth or a fifth or some hundredth of a cent to check. So check that out. If you're importing from a CSV, make sure you've mapped out all your fields correctly. Oftentimes you can have a small error, like especially if you've gotten people in different languages or like different characters can kind of come in. So especially in Mailshake, we have at the very end, you're kind of checking through manual emails to make sure the personalization is there. So filter through, take that time, spend an extra 5-10 minutes, because that 5-10 minutes could save you an embarrassing conversation, or it could help you get one extra person or two extra person that you made a mistake on. Look through if each email you've sent or each segment you're sending to is personalized. Just make sure you kind of check that box and make sure it's personalized. Make sure you double check your spelling and grammar. I cannot tell you how bad this one is. Because most of the time when you're creating email, these email tools don't have spelling and grammar check like the way Microsoft Word or Google Docs do. So write it in Google Docs, move it over, and if you're going to do that, make sure your formatting is proper. Send a test email to yourself. I always try to send one email to one or two other people before I send an email. Make sure your email has your prospect needs before yours. At the end of the day, it's about the prospect. Think about the benefits of your product or service, and are they obviously stated in that email? Are your sentences too long? Remember, we talked about different templates you can use in a few lessons before. 3 sentences max is my personal favorite, but are you writing short, scannable emails? And think about what things can be consolidated, or even things that are culturally insensitive. Is your language personalized to that person? Accountant versus marketer. If you send me an email saying, "Hey dude," I'll open it. If you send an accountant saying, "Hey dude," you might kind of they might shy off that. And lastly, does your message have a call to action? You'd be surprised how easy you can forget this, especially with the amount of extra research and personalization, all the things that relate to kind of sending a cold email. So make sure you have a call to action. A few tools that can help you is Grammarly. Grammarly is an awesome Chrome extension. I think it's free for individuals. Essentially, you can use that to check your grammar and spelling live as you write emails. Number 2 is Voila Norbert's email verification service. Help you verify that you're sending an email to the right person, or that email still exists. And lastly, make sure this is not a tool, it's more of a process, that you A/B test, or you test in small segments your email before you send that to the masses. So let's say you have 5,000 people trying to email, test it with 100 to 200 people. That works, optimize, test again until you have the best possible email, and then send it off to 4,500 people. So maybe you kind of split the 500 people into 3 segments, but it's important that you test, optimize, rinse and repeat a couple times, because I don't know about you, but I've never launched anything that's absolutely perfect. That's why beta testing and kind of things like that exist. So test before you scale.